Good gaming morning. Whether you're tossing dice, flipping pages, stroking that brush, or mashing those buttons, we got your six on all things gaming. My name is Loki, as always, and to my direct front of me, of course,
Eddie Focus, and we got some special guests.
we do have guests in building. We've talked about them a couple times. You're already up to date on 2 episodes now. We've actually brought some of our people from our gaming table. We have our friend Brian.
They got tired of the smack talking.
And we got our friend Jake.
Hey now.
Jake is the barbarian. Why don't you go ahead and explain your character first of all? And this is D&D 5e edition. From the first episode, we broke down Palladium, and like we said before, I am a DM for over 20 years now, and these guys are in a campaign right now that I'm making in Dark Sun. So go ahead and explain your character.
My character, I'm the Minotaur. I am a fighter that is sort of becoming a tank over time, despite the fact that I have a two-handed sword that I use in battle. And I'm a drunk buffoon compared to my last character from 4E.
And don't forget Gladiator.
This is true. I am the champion.
Yes.
My character is the Bard. He basically doesn't do a whole lot in terms of fighting because, well, he doesn't do any damage, but he manages to pull out a few surprises every now and then, and, well, every once in a while, a few misfires.
I do like, it's funny because I don't think we've ever really had a bard character. The only thing I can ever remember was when they had back in, I think it was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, they had the books. Yeah. And one of them was the Book of the Bard. And
yes,
everybody wanted to be...
It was like Rogues and Bards or
right,
something
and
like
everybody
that.
wanted to be the weapon proficiency assassin
well, they
guy.
tried to beef up the
Blade
Bard
Master, that's what it
for
was.
second edition.
Yes.
And they came up with these, what was it called? The Blades?
Yeah, the Blades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Blade Master. And
Which was cool, but at the same time, I was like, it's not very bard-like.
It's not a bard. Right,
No.
exactly. And a lot of people realized, what a bard does. And
yeah, honestly, this is the first edition that I felt that they really did the Bard as a separate character class and actually made them useful. I love
agree.
the inspiration.
I like the idea because, like I said, it's a great support class. And on the way to the studio today, we're actually talking about it. And you brought up a really good point. You had pretty much the same healing powers that a cleric at that level pretty much had. Like you were doing the same amount of healing, if not sometimes on your rolls better.
No, we had the same exact spells, and because the spells in 5e always go off your class modifier, we had the same bonuses and everything. So it didn't matter that I was not a cleric. I had healing magic that was just as powerful as his.
Right, exactly. And that's what I think they really did with with the Bard. With you took the fighter class.
Yeah.
And he is we're also talking at level 20, you end up getting the incredible 4 attacks. And right now you have 2 attacks.
I believe at 11 you get 3.
Right, and then your
also have
bonus
an action
ability,
surge.
your surge grants you.
I get a whole nother action to use during that turn. So you can literally disengage. If you haven't moved and run after hitting somebody, you can just take another attack. So you get 4 attacks. That's generally what happens because I'm also frontline fighting, tanking.
Right, exactly. Just to let everybody know up on pace, Ed is obviously also in there. And why don't you explain your character?
Well, I am the rogue, and I don't do a lot of damage either, usually.
Wait, you're a rogue? Why aren't you unlocking the doors and finding the traps then?
Actually, no, you're right. I'm not a rogue.
You're a ranger.
Ranger. It's a rogue class.
Not really.
Not in this edition, buddy.
It used to be. I'm a really bad ranger. But I did pretty good the last game, but normally I just get a lot of whiffs with the arrows, and the arrows that did hit weren't really doing
I was going to say, I don't think
damage.
you hit often with the arrows. That my son, which is off camera right now and helping us on the side, is the other ranger in the class, and he's a dragonborn. He hits more with arrows, and you tend to hit more with your sword, it seems like.
I don't use my sword a lot, but it seems like when I do,
hit.
I do a lot of damage.
Exactly, and that's a big thing.
The key with that was grabbing the dual weapons feat, and without giving you another set of attacks, you kind of get another set of hits, which really, really helps.
That's a big damage modifier. That's a big boost,
so
right?
You potentially can do double damage without criticals,
right?
Without a lot of penalties to your number of attacks. However, I feel like I should be hitting better with the arrows. But that's my
technical ranger. I mean, that's how you look at it. But
Yeah.
a ranger, I've always looked at it like this. A ranger class is almost, in my opinion, the perfect ranger is obviously Aragorn.
Yeah.
From the Lord of the Rings saga. Like, he is incredible with the arrows. He's incredible
Oh,
with the
you mean
sword.
Legolas?
No, Aragorn.
Aragorn's not a ranger.
Yes, he is.
Oh yeah,
Is he?
he's totally
He's
a
the
ranger.
He's
yeah.
his
Oh,
first
yeah.
original name was Strider, the Ranger.
I got to read that book again.
Like, he is like, in my opinion, he's
well, you
the
always
definition.
think of it more at the end of it, where he's supposed.
Oh, he's all
like,
armored up
yeah.
and that and shit like that. But no,
Yeah.
in the beginning, he was quick on the fire with
yeah.
that bow. And as a matter of
And-
fact, he was just
yeah.
as quick sometimes as Legolas.
Yes.
And people
but
have
in
brought
the party,
that up.
he actually was kind of the front line with Gimli most of the time.
And this
so
is
that's why
this
you
is
think
right.
of him
And this
as
is
more
the
of a
point
fighter.
we're bringing up with Jake being his Minotaur being the tank, and he's not necessarily supposed to be a tank.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do, and you take that front run. So we do. We have 2 rangers, and then we have a cleric. We made mention of Rob in the first episode. He plays the cleric. We also have
Another fighter,
another fighter.
But he's a dual
dwarven
wielder.
2-weapon fighter. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. A dual wielder fighter. And he seems to, I would say, and he's a dwarf, I would say he hits, and his damage sometimes is not anywhere on par with yours. When he does his surges, he's up there. Like, I've seen him.
Well, the reason being is I use two-hander. So with the great weapon fighting that you get as a fighter, I get
Yes.
to re-roll damage dice.
Yes,
And that's
every
a-
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did a little min-maxing there, which was nice.
No, that's the best way to do it,
Especially,
especially when you have
early
2
on.
dice, which is a smart way. If you do it
Yeah.
the other way, which is just a D12, you only get
Yeah,
one
you're
shot. at
only
it.
re-rolling what?
D6s.
Yeah.
That's
like
it.
18%.
And you get to re-roll 1s and 2s, which
Yeah.
is the other big thing.
Well, at
So-
first it was only 1s, right?
No,
And then-
it was
oh,
always
ones.
1s and
Ooh, That
2s.
is
Nope.
nice. That
Yeah,
is fucking
so
nice.
on 2 dice, you're doing minimum 6 damage plus your modifier.
Yeah, so yeah, you're definitely more the damage dealer. He does tend to do a lot of hitting and kind of like. I
taking the
would
bulk of
honestly
hits too, though.
No, I would like to see him be more of a frontliner. I think he's starting to step up and take that role as a frontliner now.
Yeah.
Alan.
Well, it kind of
Yeah,
has
without
to
a doubt,
because
you have
but
to.
at first, you notice he really wasn't.
yeah, he definitely was staying back. He was being more of a. I think he was trying to do more ranged weapon,
Yes.
ranged, like throwing with his axes and stuff like that. But he kind of finally realized that hey, nobody else is on the front lines, and Jake's getting beat the
Right.
hell out of.
Well,
Right.
the first couple Avengers, I went down, 4 to 5 times in the entire adventure?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, get healed, stand back up, whack, down.
4 or 5 times. Hold my beer.
I know. Yes, you take it.
But-
you take a licking too.
Yeah. well, between the party now, we're up to like a half a dozen times per battle. But
Yeah.
I think that's because the healing I feel kind of isn't quite keeping up as far as the spells you
Actually,
get.
I think this last game was the first time I didn't completely die.
Well, how many hit points do you have? You have like 40, don't you?
Barely.
You've got like the lowest hit point count.
Wow,
in the
yeah.
you should have at
party.
Yeah.
least 60 by now.
Now, yeah, but I
Yeah,
think
but at the
I
time-
barely had like.
Well, no,
40
at this last adventure, you should have had at least 60.
I'd have to double check. I really don't think I had it. I don't
As
think it
a
was that high.
ranger, you get to roll like
If you
a
didn't have
D10.
60, then you missed a level or something.
Yeah, you must have.
Well,
must
I
have done
missed a
something.
game.
I had the same discussion with
I
Alex.
missed a game though.
Yes, but we caught
So
you
every-
back up to experience, so you're still level 9.
Yeah,
Well, I
the
might
game
have
before
60 now, but
we
during
had,
the game I did.
Or no, it was this adventure. that
No,
we
he was
did
level
that.
7 at the beginning of this adventure,
Yeah.
and then he got
Okay,
to,
so yeah, you were a level behind
Yeah,
us at the beginning.
yeah, no,
of the
Yes,
absolutely.
because
No, he
it wasn't
was.
until the end of the game that
That's
you guys
right,
donated
yeah.
experience, which I appreciate.
Right.
And brought it up. So
And then
Which,
the last
by the way,
one-
was awesome of you to let us do.
yeah, well, like we said, we're going to be getting into that. And the
I
last
would
person
never
that
do
we
that.
have,
Just want to put it out there.
Of course.
I'm just warning you. You earn your keep with me.
the last person that we have in the team is a warlock. He shows up occasionally. We have a really good storyline going with him. It kind of sucks that he missed this last one, but so that's where we're at with the party. And today's discussion is actually going to be a DM's tip. It was actually Ed's idea because we just had this adventure about 2 weeks ago.
It was flabbergasted that it worked out as
It
well
was
as
it was literally
Yeah.
literally the day after we recorded the first podcast. We went and had this adventure, and I had it set up a certain way, as all DMs do. And these guys have always had a really bad habit of going the opposite way of everything that I've had planned, which as a DM and as a GM sometimes frustrates you, and you want to make this as open of a world as possible. Well, we're going to break it down of how it went, But essentially, the party's split. And a lot of DMs get scared when the party splits. They don't know how to take care of it, or they just don't let it happen at all. They say, you can't go this way. Another thing people tend to do is have the people leave the room, and you can just work with that group of people. I'm not a big fan of doing that. I kind of like to, keep the people.
Unless it's essential that one side doesn't
know
the other.
what's going on. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
The
can see
first
that.
adventure we had was 2 groups until we could meet up.
Right. Exactly. You
So
guys
we're
had
playing
no
2
idea.
different tables.
And I didn't exactly. I didn't want you guys to see each other.
Yeah, very specifically, you needed to not know what each other were doing.
Yes.
For that adventure, but this was completely different. This was we just happened to split up, and
That's why I think in every group you should have someone else that's versed enough in the rules that they could referee.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep it going, you could have someone be like, all right, I'm splitting you guys up. Maybe one of the players like, you don't know everything that's going on, but I need you to referee this encounter. This is the situation. This is what needs to happen.
That's not a bad idea
just
as well.
to keep things going.
Right.
I may do that with you.
Right. No,
Since
that's
you're familiar with the plating system.
yeah. That's not a bad idea.
'Cause if you
Actually,
got a time crunch,
that's the big
then-
thing.
Yeah.
That was the big thing. I wasn't too worried about time. That's why I had everybody show up early.
Yeah.
And
we finished early too. That's a
yeah.
crazy thing.
No, we really did. You guys got.
well, it ended up working out time wise because we
Yeah.
got twice as much done.
Twice,
in
yeah,
half the time.
exactly. That was the big thing.
By all accounts, this shouldn't have gone as smoothly as it did.
No, it shouldn't have.
really
It
shouldn't
was a
have.
freaking miracle.
It really shouldn't
And
have.
since we brought up Jake being the tank, so there's a certain point in this game where we don't have a tank in one of the groups.
Yes.
Did
Yeah.
Well, no, we did. It was me and the other fighter in the same group.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You had
2
you two and
rangers
one
and a
healer.
bard went the other way.
So the temple that you guys ended up going into, just so you guys know, the team decided to split. Both fighters and the cleric decided to go the right way, well, to the right side. There's no right way. Actually, if you had to choose the right way to go, it was the way that you guys went. That was pretty much
That was the direct route to the ultimate goal.
that was
Right.
where you guys essentially needed to go.
As a player, I don't necessarily consider that the right way.
So these guys went the logistically left way, and that was the bard.
And the 2 rangers.
The 2 rangers. Yeah, that's right. There was only 6. There was only 6 of you.
Yeah, so we had brute force and accuracy.
And so so they did a lot of sneaking. There was a lot of good movements and a lot of good decisions, and then there was a few poor decisions. that
One
led
that a
to-
certain someone should have gotten away with if
That-
there hadn't been a
that
certain
led,
other NPC someone spying on them.
They ended
get
up
to
cutting
that.
each other off with acid, which was pretty funny. But so
What you rolled with that really well. I just want to throw it out there.
So this is DM tip. We're going to throw them out here. It's so hard to let yourself kind of like let everything go. You get frustrated so easy because you're trying to tell a story and you're trying to let things go a certain way. But the best part of being a DM is not knowing what's going to happen. Just like the players out here don't know what I have planned. They throw stuff at you, and as a DM, you're supposed to grab it, hold it in your hand, figure it out for a second, and then give it right back to them. Maybe something a little different, maybe something a little spicy, maybe take a little bit of something away. And when we did what happened was there was a pool, and Brian decided to
Yes, it was a pool of acid, apparently, so that the assassins could dip their weapons and stuff in it.
Yep.
But being that we were searching for secrets and things, and this was definitely magical, and it was a rather large pool, and at this point the party had split, so I'm basically kind of standing there in no man's land going, okay, what the heck am I going to do? I can't catch up to either one of these guys. I'm not even sure which one is the best way to
you
go.
caught it
or
pretty quick
if
when
I
you
should-
took out that acid pipe.
You had already
Thank God my
searched-
dexterity's pretty high.
Well, first off, you had already searched the room, and those 2 went the one way. My group had already broken the
Right.
wall open in there,
Exactly. You guys were.
and you lost
were-
a dagger because you dipped it in the acid.
Yeah, but
and
that
it
was
wasn't
okay. 'cause
magical.
It was just a
Yeah.
regular dagger. That's why I used the dagger because I didn't care if I lost it.
But
Right.
you did want to dip the statue.
Can I just throw something out too?
Absolutely.
No, I did not want to dip the statue.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I
was the one
started.
that was
that
against
was
you.
me. That
Yes.
was me. I
that was
started
Ed.
messing with the
Yes.
pool. I started messing with the pool because I thought there was something to it. all you convinced me to leave it alone. That's why I was like, why?
And then I came back
why
to
is
it,
Brian
and I'm
like this pool?
Well, see, by the time I got back to it, I'm looking at the pool, and it was basically kind of one of those.
Yeah, as a character, you just can't leave it alone.
Yeah, exactly. The thought was in my head. I had nothing better to do. I'm like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, and it happened.
And well,
And my thought was-
Mike's imagination was apparently better than mine.
My thought was that the statue couldn't be broke, and he was annoying. I was going to make him walk the bottom of the pool, see if it was that what we were looking for was down there.
I kind of agreed with you because I was totally with you on the indestructible part. But at that point, I had invested some time and effort into making the statue and our NPC more agreeable. So I wasn't willing to just sacrifice him in case
And at
something
that
really
point,
bad happened.
hopefully you're getting a magical grabber to pull him out of that shit because it was pretty deep to the point where
Yeah, that's the other thing. If that
be on the
thing's
bottom.
happen, what are we gonna do?
I'm
Cannonball.
sure somebody had a +1 sword and pry him out.
grab it. Here, grab my staff.
I mean, I guess if worse came to worse, I would have used the javelin because that was just a kind of a bonus thing.
Yeah, but don't forget he has no hands. He's got
Yeah,
a,
You
the
said he
shield
moved his
and the
hands and stuff.
sword.
No,
Oh
no.
yeah, that's
No.
right. Yeah,
The moral,
on there. Oh god, yeah.
the moral
that
of
would
the
have been
story
a
is
disaster.
with great dispel magic comes great responsibility.
So he dispelled the magic that was holding the acid.
Honestly, I really figured that it was going to be like a high level dispel magic, and I just was going to fail at it.
No, the whole reason why that was there was for them to dip their
Right.
weapons in there and walk away.
I figured it was either that or there was actually something magical, and the poison was just there to mess with people.
No, that was pretty
But
much it.
that's
So-
what separated
you know.
us. Was that one event separated the party.
And I would have gotten away with it too
Permanently
if it
for
wasn't for that damn statue.
Yeah.
So he picks up the statue and runs like Roger from Lethal Weapon 2. Rog, get the cat.
I totally grabbed the cat.
Oh, that's 3.
3. That is
Part
3.
three.
You're
Yes.
right. You're right.
Yes.
So at this point, they're separated, and
Completely and utterly.
as a DM now you kind of get the panic button going because you do have prearranged. I mean, I do. Everybody does it their own certain way. Like people actually have like these random generator. I introduced you to it that one
Oh,
time.
yeah,
the random
that was great
generator
for a
encounter.
journey type
Right,
thing.
exactly. If you're just kind of doing something on the fly and you want to have like this, they have these great things to do. But as a DM, I usually have these battles planned out. And the encounters are there for a reason. That if you have a fighter, I usually throw a ranger support or a mage support in there, a healer, something that's going to help these guys. Make the battle last longer, make something go on.
Supply a need, whatever.
This encounter that these guys first came to ended up being one of my bigger encounters, besides the main big evil guy, as we like to put it, main big bad guy. Was supposed to be an adult green dragon followed with 3 black draconians and a red one. Now the black ones, if you guys have ever read Dragonlance, and this is my world right now is a cross between Dark Sun, and now I'm starting to bring in the incorporations of Dragonlance, mostly with Takesis coming in. I call her Tiamat just because I like the name Tiamat better. That's just me.
Same thing though.
And right, exactly. And then he's known as Paladin in Dragonlance, I believe. No, Bahamut.
Well,
Yeah.
Bahamut's
Bahamut's the Paladin, is the platinum dragon.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
he's the Paladin. So he's the one.
He's the anti-Tiamat
Right.
type
Exactly.
dragon. Yeah.
Exactly. But he has not yet been seen, and neither have good dragons yet in my world. So right now, the only thing that is in here is evil. So I can't take just the dragon out and just have you guys fight draconians. It's you guys would destroy him, especially with what you guys were packing.
I wouldn't.
Do I completely change the scenario I had planned? No, because it was already set in stone. I'd have to go through the monster manual. I'd have to write everything down. I'd have to get all these attacks back again and get everything going. So my decision at that point was to just have them face the dragon. Now, when I had this dragon, obviously I thought the bard was going to be there. The 2 rangers were going to be there. It was, it would be a different type of battle. Any other creature out there would have been devastating, because what really helped you guys, number one, is you're a dragon slayer.
Well, I got the sword. That's the Dragon Slayer.
Exactly.
That helped
So you are.
massively.
That's what I'm saying. So you are a dragon slayer, much like the cleric is, hoping to be a giant slayer.
Well, it would be nice if he could use a weapon. I think it's been used one time, folks, and I was the one that rolled
I know,
it because
yeah.
he had to go outside for work.
That was funny. That was funny, dude.
And what's more, it splutted the guy. It was a natural 20.
Yep. That's you're pretty
Well,
good.
you
at
roll
running
crits
those. I was
like
gonna
every other roll.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I wish.
your crit up is nasty, man.
It's down from when we first started. It was
Well,
really
yeah, the
bad
law
by
of
that
averages
second.
finally started to kick in.
Yeah, you got to roll with them averages eventually,
'Cause
bro. That's just the way it goes.
Seriously, the first like 2-3 adventures.
The second adventure was bad because my red die rolled 20 like 7 or 8 times
Yeah.
in a matter of 2 battles.
No, I remember.
And when we get the combat advantage, you're rolling 2 dice. Put my other good dice in
Yeah,
there.
it was like every round crit, dead.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
doing
know
that
how
much
you-
damage. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah,
you can't-
exactly. They're low level creatures, so you start rolling crits
early
and
on.
they, yeah.
But now that we're getting higher, there's more hit points. You're not doing that
Yeah.
as much
Right.
anymore because the weapon damage stays static.
I mean, still-
unless he
but,
changes.
still a tough battle.
Now that Ed stopped rolling
yeah.
those metal dice, he'll actually hit some more.
They are some nice dice, though. I mean, I think
They are.
I think
they are really
unfortunately-
nice dice.
I think
They-
unfortunately they're more of a put them on the mantle.
Yeah,
'cause
they're a
really
display set.
cool.
I don't know.
Sorry.
You rolled good when you
Check
did
out my
animal
review on
handling. When we went back in time to New York for the Marvel one, the
Halloween special? Yes,
he
yes.
rolled great for animal handling to keep
Yeah.
that carriage on the road. So I mean, they have use.
He does. And the skills do show up good in that.
Well, I notice now I'm at this level where I'm getting more of those skills and extra spells because there are some ranger spells, which I finally picked some that are actually useful. Because I'm gonna be frank, the first few levels, the spells a ranger get are absolutely useless.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
in my opinion,
Garbage.
except for maybe
Well,
the
they-
animal friendship and stuff like that is useful.
Mm-hmm.
If obviously if you got wild horses, they're not just gonna let you ride them or anything
Right,
like
right,
that.
right.
Stuff that works out, but most of there's no offensive spells.
Although, was it you that charmed the camels in that very first adventure?
No,
No.
that was me.
Yeah, you were there because it was you, Rob,
And Alan.
and Al.
Yeah, so
it was Rob, I think,
it was
that actually
Rob,
charmed
the cleric, who did it because
He used
I was
charm?
like, "How close can I get
No,
to the camels?"
he just rolled a really good animal handling.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say to charm something, you got to speak the language.
Well, yeah,
Because
that makes sense.
Pretty sure
No,
that's one of the rules.
I said charm, but yeah, it wasn't like an actual
friended.
charm
But-
spell or
but
anything like
friended.
that. Yeah.
I'm just
friendly.
saying that because I wouldn't put it past Rob to try to use charm.
No, I know.
Because like for me, I can't
Oh,
charm
yeah, he
anything.
totally would.
I can't charm anything because my character pretty much
I
he's
could charm him
scary
in-
to
but not
look
in
at.
that
So by
way.
default, it's a hard DC.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
I might walk
So,
by a farm or
as,
something, see a nice like Bessie or something.
As
Ooh, yeah.
players, obviously, you're the only one that was in that.
That
in
battle.
in that battle, in that encounter.
Well, let's not forget we had the encounter before it that
Right.
also staged it too. This is what made it also difficult. We had to take a short rest because literally we would have died if we went right into that
Oh, yeah,
battle.
yeah.
That was like the
absolutely.
lowest I got. I didn't quite. Get
Well,
to
that was
zero.
that
I
was these
like-
guys. These guys. Well, no, that's right. That first one.
There was one.
Yeah.
I think we
The
were all
fir-
together
Yeah.
first, right? And we got we barely won.
Oh yes, that was the fire because that's
Yeah.
where the summoner got himself
Oh,
splutted
yes.
right away, trying to run out a door in front of assassins.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He thought
let's
he was slick.
go back to that for a minute because the ending of that was rather funny. I thought. Because you got to understand the whole statue thing.
So the group came up to me and they asked if they could have an NPC. More actually, it was more or less it was Rob that asked me if they could have an NPC to kind of make up for the lack of whatever they may have in the party. And I agreed to it, and we had a vote. And the whole vote was they decided to let the NPC be a summoner.
Never mind that we don't have a thief, and we're always trying to find and remove
I
traps. or
thought I was
picklocks
making
or
a thief,
whatever.
to be honest with you. I thought that's what was going to come that way. So
I intentionally did not say anything to kind of see where the party felt.
right.
Because you've never
Well-
you've never put us in situations where we had a serious lack. Like, yeah,
Right.
we might have to pick a lock or something, but you're not going to give us a door that we have to pick the lock to get past.
DM's tip.
Without
DM's tip right there. Don't ever, like I said, don't ever tell these people no. I'm sorry. It might fuck up your game or it might fuck up your adventure.
Yes,
But-
I actually was going to interject that when you were mentioning that before.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. The best thing you can do as a DM is screw your own plans. Go with what the players give you.
Roll with it.
They will love you way more
have
for
to.
it.
Just roll with it. Just
Yeah.
roll with it. Don't get frustrated. Don't get upset. If they catch you in a pickle, don't be afraid to ask for a 5-minute break. Be like, hey guys, I just got to go to the bathroom real quick. I just want to check my phone before we go into these next couple battles. I just want to get everything situated. Take a breather. Get away from that situation.
Hell, just say I need to get my shit in order and get set up for what's
Right,
coming.
right.
Personally, I have my GM shield set up with random tables. So
I do the same thing.
If something goes a certain way, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, all right, you find this.
Yeah, and that's a good idea as well. Putting those random tables up.
A lot of these random tables too, even if it's something stupid like let's say Brian goes into this other room you didn't plan for down this other way, and like, okay, you find like three guns and a copy of Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, yeah.
Do something with the Tom Sawyer. Like, don't it's a hook. I'm
Right.
Like, okay, there's
Yeah.
okay, you find the book. You decide to sit and read the book. There's something in the book.
Right.
And
Well-
go from there.
Or if
You
the
know?
players get into town and they go talk to some random NPC, don't always make it be the guy that the mayor or the shopkeeper, whatever that they got to get the information from or whatever.
Right.
It could be if they're just looking for information, they could go to the freaking stable to bed down their horses and hear the stable hands talking.
Right.
That could lead them to a tip.
Right.
All that stuff.
You can find a random scrap of paper just
Yeah.
blowing in the wind that you happen to come across, and all these things. These are things like as you're sitting at home and you're planning adventures, write these little things down. You got smartphones. You're all people. You carry your phones everywhere. I do this nice little thing on my phone. I have this note. Everybody has notes on their phone now at this point, and I literally say D&D notes, and anything that I think of at work or I happen to think of somewhere, boom, I put it right in there. So that way I don't have to always keep it in my brain, and when I go back to it, I'm like, oh shit, that's a good fucking idea. I completely forgot
I think
about that.
sometimes too, people try to overcomplicate the game. There
Yes.
are days where people don't want to think a lot. So do something simple as
Yeah.
Party A robbed Party B. Party C said he stole a family heirloom. Please get it back for me.
Boom.
Go get the heirloom. You
Right.
have a game.
Now you have a
and
game.
then you could go.
Or like we mentioned, the random encounter generator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a travel adventure where you guys got to travel and it's it's a week. It's a week's travel, so
Yeah,
you're
like
just
I said,
rolling random
I called it
encounters.
the Oregon Trail adventure that
that's
we pulled
perfect
off.
when
Oh
you wanna
God,
change
I don't
your
want to die of dysentery.
That's perfect if you actually want to change your scenery.
Yes.
So the next
Yeah.
game is travel.
Yeah.
And let's keep it real. Traveling isn't as simple as getting.
And
on the move.
there's so many new modules out there. You have the ship module, the air module. There's all these different things and all these different ways to travel now, and you can really just base an entire adventure just on
Like in
travel
our-
alone.
in
And don't
episode
forget,
one,
encounters don't have to be battles.
Nope.
when we're talking about playing in episode 1, you have the one map, okay? So it's not as simple as realm
Here to there.
It's not realm jumping.
Right.
You need to actually
It's not like
arrange
fucking
transportation.
Skyrim. Fast travel.
It's like you got to arrange transportation. So what do you need? You need horses, carriage, you're going to need supplies, you're going to die. These are all things
Yeah.
that you can put into a game.
Yeah. You talk about doing a travel adventure. That's a completely different type of adventure than like what you were talking about. Go fetch an heirloom or whatever,
Yeah.
or whatever job.
I'm saying, you don't have to save the world in every game.
Yeah. You don't have to go dungeon crawling or cave spelunking every game. You can have one where your goal is to survive.
Yeah.
Find food and shelter and keep the wild animals at bay.
Or be creative. I know when you ran the Ravenloft game for X amount of years, there was a lot of like intrigue and there was conspiracy stuff going on.
And that's a very hard thing to do to keep that up. And in that world, that's a horror world. You have
That
to
I
keep
gotta
that-
imagine is very tough to do as a DM.
Oh, it's extreme. That was probably one of the most difficult campaigns that I've ever ran, to keep up that horror, to keep up that suspense. It was. I mean, thank God I did it when I was younger and I had the time. Like I would sit in that freaking basement and just write out the story for like a whole night at Brandon's house and just listen to music and just get this whole campaign written out.
Yeah.
You know, so
Still my favorite setting.
yeah, I absolutely loved it. I love what I'm doing now. So back to the NPC.
I just hated the evil chicks.
I know.
Yeah.
But yes, back to the NPC in the first battle.
So the NPC that these guys I eventually did make up, I call him Silver Highwind, and he is a high
asshole.
elf, and he's an absolute asshole.
Funny thing is, my character kind of likes him.
Yeah, I have him speak like Batman on purpose.
He likes him so much he had him stuffed and he keeps him in his bag.
Yep.
Well, not so much stuff.
Now the head's exposed just out of the pouch so we can see what's going
So
on.
the funny part about this, and they say it's a statue. My comedy relief behind this whole thing is he is a high elf, and there's 3 dwarves and a minotaur, and they were the original like core group, sort of say.
Yes,
and then
I play
everybody
the
kinda-
one dwarf, Rob the cleric is the other, and Alan
is the fighter
is
dwarf.
the third.
Right.
We are brothers.
Yes, exactly, and
And
they.
we joined forces with the Minotaur.
Right, so
for the
these
first
guys kind of like
adventure.
stick together.
Yep.
So elves and dwarves in my world are the same thing. They make fun of each other, they hate each other, blah blah blah. And especially a high elf, they really look down on pretty much this.
They look down on everybody, including all the other elves.
Pretty much,
So
pretty much.
Dwarves
So-
are like,
The battle is they're going into the temple. They're trying to pretty much get in. They realize that the NPC that they don't know is the NPC is in trouble. They interject. The fire is pretty much broken out at this point.
basically, we wake up to the building on fire and the NPC charging into battle by
he
himself.
wakes up. He didn't wake anyone else up until he tapped me on the shoulder.
right.
And then I just yell, kill!
Well,
And
that was
everybody's
only like
awake.
one round in between, so kind of, it's not like he, dawdled off by himself for 3 rounds and then came back.
Say
I've found
this.
that the best way to preserve life is to wake the Minotaur up first.
This is true.
Are you sure about that? I kill a lot of life, too.
Yes.
Well, only if we wake you up the wrong way.
Fair enough.
I'm not talking about real people. I'm talking about the NPCs.
So NPC decides to be sneaky and try
He
to get
decided
away.
to be Batman.
and run away. And unfortunately, he got offed, and he got offed rather viciously. The battle also ensued. They got everything going. They ultimately tried to save his life. Rob.
I ran in front of him to engage the guy next to him and give him cover so he wouldn't get shot. He still ran to the entrance.
Yeah, well, he was trying to get away from you guys.
He thinks that low though of everybody. He's that much of a man.
High elf.
Well, he got his head
That
cut
much of an
off.
elf, then.
So he dies. They win the
Yeah, he's
encounter.
about a foot shorter now.
They win the
Or
encounter,
lower.
and they decide that they want to try to bring this high elf back.
Well, we all knew he was the NPC, so we
Right.
figured there had to be
I
some way to
sewed
save
his
him.
head back onto his body. I thought
Well,
we could
yeah.
get his soul back.
Comedy-
He got
comedy relief.
decapitated as the coup de grace.
Yeah.
So
We don't have good luck with resurrection.
No.
Our-
So,
no, we don't.
So the
God
gods were
Warlock.
gracious enough to grant that, but in the humor of it all, there was an adamantium dwarf 14
No, Jade.
Jade. Well, adamantium encrusted jade because
Okay.
it's jade, but it's made out. It's magical and it's made out of adamantium
Gotcha.
as well. That's why it's indestructible.
That's why we should have thrown
So
it in the
when
And
attic.
it's a little.
which I never did
it's
get the
essentially
explanation of why that mysteriously showed up.
what the statue.
Yes.
That's the reason why.
Well, I kind of figured, but
But right there, so when he poked the bard on the nose, that should have been a critical hit. Adamantium crits on everything it hits automatically.
So it essentially was a fucked up statue. It was mailed to these guys as a mistake. It was supposed to be the Minotaur.
In my glory.
as
Winning
part of
is-
his gladiatorial efforts, my bard was basically pumping him up, and we were hawking merchandise. So we convinced, I think it was some gnomes. to make some bobbleheads for
Yep.
us.
I was locked in a cage in the basement, and they were profiting off my likeness.
Yep. And so they made this
Hey,
jade infused
we are a
adamantium
team.
bobblehead.
But it came out looking more like a dwarf with minotaur horns.
Yes, exactly. A long-faced dwarf, look with one hand is constantly holding on to a stubby little sword, and the other hand is constantly holding on to a little shield. Now he can't use his hands or anything. Now the long story short, he got his body transferred into this Chucky type gnomish doll.
That's the first thing I
That was
thought
in
of.
my bag at the time.
The other thing I should point, the reason he has a beard, I have the dwarven belt, so every day I have to roll percentiles and high or low. And whichever it is, the opposite, the beard grows like I'm a dwarf.
Yep.
Which is great considering you've basically banded together with 3 dwarven brothers.
Right.
So you're like the fourth
so you
brother
look
we
like
never
a
had.
big fucking overgrown dwarf, essentially. Yeah.
See, this is the stuff we roll on, folks.
Yeah.
Well, it's screwed up now because it got burnt in the fire, and it hasn't grown back yet.
Yeah.
So that's another
Yeah,
problem.
but give it another day or two.
Yep, exactly. So these guys now have this high elf entrapped in this dwarf statue, which is an embarrassment in itself.
Yeah,
because
he's not exactly happy about that.
He's not happy at all about it. So these guys have yet to see the abilities that he can possess right now, but it's gonna be fun. He's an interesting character. I'm glad these guys, and this is another one DM tip. If your players ask you for something, work it into the story, man. It's gonna be so easy to make it happen, and the comic relief and even just the character now. I see these guys already getting attached to a jade statue.
You know, could I then have my Dragon Slayer upgraded to a Vorpal Dragon Slayer?
Well, you can talk to your buddy.
It does kind of make up for the dragon we lost due to, the guy that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah. Well, you didn't lose him. You guys spent a lot of money to bring him back, but
Oh, no, I was talking about the guy
Oh,
he killed.
yes. So, they get their NPC and they get into the building. Obviously, going in there. This is where the whole acid thing separates them. You guys go into your separate thing. You have a
Yep.
small battle at first, and then it leads you to the running away to get to the Green Dragon, which is the first encounter that I had to modify.
We were still in the room, and it came because what the bard did.
The bard ended up.
The dragon did, yes.
Yeah, he ended up tripping.
But the
You talked
quick
to
side
the
note,
guards.
the beginning of that first battle was hilarious.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Which beginning of which battle?
The first battle there,
Oh, the
where,
one
where you
we
guys
went
busted down the door.
Okay, so what happened was, to set it up, we're going down a hallway. The cleric joins us. He runs ahead. Spring drops like just dead rocks right into a trap.
Yeah, it runs right into the damn trap.
No fart, no find and remove trap. Just sack of potatoes.
Sack of potatoes in the bottom of the chapel.
And all that happens is I look down. Are you having problems? Because he tried to rope his way back up. Splat, hit him right on the head. Didn't. I'm like, watch. Run and jump over, grab the rope, pull him up. We were going to get into the room. I'm like, okay, so we spent forever on this. And it's like, we'll just silence the door and then knock it open. Okay, fine, perfect. Because I wanted him to use the hammer. And then,
One of these other points where a thief would have been really handy.
yes, because we couldn't unlock the door. That was clearly obvious, and we were going to
Yeah.
break it down. I said, why don't you use your hammer? DM sort of hinted to us, everybody will hear what goes on if you use that. Okay.
Yeah.
We break the door down. You got a bunch of people.
Without doing anything to check what might be on the other side of the door, by the way.
No, we did. We looked through the keyhole and you couldn't see anything.
Right.
Okay, I missed that part then.
There's no way to know other than, let's open the door.
Well, you might have listened.
Mo, Larry, and Curly. But at least we did it with a silence on the door because we surprised them.
Yeah.
So I had this picture of the half a dozen or so guys just kind of standing there, walking around or whatever. The door busts open, but completely silent.
Yeah, they heard nothing. So
And these three guys come in and
and
they're just all.
and they're putting dead bodies in coffins. So that was a sight to see. So you got 2 in the corner up here, and you got 4
you
over
failed to
here.
mention that they were the victims from the trap earlier.
I forgot about that. Yes. Those people died to the trap.
Just like Rob almost did.
It's true. He got down to like 10 hit points or something.
Yep.
It was close.
Oh,
It
it
was
was a mighty fall, dude. It was a mighty fall.
Thank God there were no punji sticks in there.
Right?
So then you guys get the sneak attack. You end up getting pretty much the lowdown on these guys. They give you a nice little battle, and
Oh yeah, they did.
you had to take a quick rest. So as you guys are quick resting,
You skipped over to us.
yep,
So the first thing I specifically remember was the dual bridges which I was very proud of myself for, I believe, figuring that out.
Yep.
So there was one bridge that was nice and well lit and seemed like it was guarded and everything, and there was another bridge that was all like dark and seemed to be pretty vacated and whatnot. But due to an earlier conversation with the summoner, who gave me the tip of, well, it's an Assassin's Guild, so up is down and right is left, and nothing is ever as it seems. So I immediately said, well, of course we should go down the well-lit path.
Right.
Which, once we get down there, we had seen some torchlight moving, which we thought was a guard, but it turned out to be just a mechanism simulating a guard to try to get people down the other path. So I was like, woo, yay! I was all proud of myself, especially after the acid incident.
But then you sprung something.
Wait, what did we spring after that?
You talked to the guard, and you
Oh
were
yeah,
playing
that was
as a guard.
yes. We got up to the doorway or entrance where the guards were, and I simulated another guard. We were trying to draw them out to the entrance where now I've created this large
Which
pool
was,
of acid.
I believe, if you're listening to this now and you're on our Instagram, check it out. Ed actually took a picture of it, and they're sitting by this, I can't even speak, stairwell, and they're in the corner, and as the enemies are running by, they're shooting and picking these guys off one by one. The Rangers are doing
No,
it.
that was after the first attempt.
Right. But the first attempt,
Yeah,
you guys,
the first attempt, I imitated another guard, which I can do as a bard.
and you asked
and-
for help.
Right. But unbeknownst to us, instead of, mustering troops and
They let
running down to
Fido
the
loose.
entrance, they're like, oh, let's just release it. And when they said, let's release it, we went, uh-oh.
No, what's the first thing I said? I'm like, fuck, that acid came from something.
And then, sure enough, these guys were resting so nicely.
And they heard a clunk and a roar.
Yeah, 3 hit dice, a charge of some healing salve, just get my hit points back.
And these guys unleash an adult dragon on them.
And he was quite articulate.
Now, this was the one, like I said, I originally had Draconians plan to go with it. It was supposed to be like them like holding the dragon and bringing it along. I had to modify this. A lot of the encounters that these guys went through, the guards and everything else, a lot of this had to be modified. And like I said, when the players do this to you, don't like feel like trapped. Don't, tell them you need a break. Think about where you want to go from this, but just don't ever tell them no. I think that's the biggest thing that I want everybody to get from this. And it's so hard to think that I can't roll with it. I can't do this, but you can. You really can. And
Well, one addendum to that there are times as a DM when the players are just so dead set on something that is completely useless or asinine or whatever.
It's gonna happen.
That you just have to say, no.
leave it alone.
No, it has nothing to do with anything. It's completely useless. You're wasting everybody's time. Go away, do something else.
Right, exactly. I mean, you can be that blunt, and I have been that blunt. I'm
Yeah,
just going to say
sometimes
that.
it's necessary.
And just because, like we say, you get gamer lag. You just, it's fatigue. You've been playing for too long.
Yeah,
and-
sometimes the players are fighting with each other, or sometimes,
Just not
like I
focused.
said, they're just, or they're hyper focused on something that is
Right.
completely non-essential.
So these guys destroy the dragon. These guys take on another encounter. They ended up taking care of that encounter as well. They did very well, actually. The teamwork on both sides, I will admit, as a DM, I was very impressed. The way you guys were fighting off each other, especially being lower.
We had to, like I said,
Yeah.
we didn't have the heavy hitters.
No,
with
I know.
us. So it was like we got to be smart about this. And then
Wow.
didn't you get pin cushioned at first?
Yes,
Yeah, he went
that
down.
that was my
forgot
second big mistake,
That's
which
how-
really wasn't a big mistake. It was one small mistake in wording, because the intention was that we were all going to pop up at the same time, and basically we were all going to get a sneak attack. But because I said I'll pop up first, rather than we all jump up at the same time,
And the guards were already
and I-
active and
Wait
waiting.
a minute. We couldn't. We couldn't because the
No,
way
it's-
the
it was-
entrance was
right.
single file.
Yeah.
So one person had to go in first.
Right.
And you
Spiral
jumped in.
staircase.
You jumped in, got
And they
pin
were ready.
cushioned,
Yeah.
And it fell back towards us. And we're like, we need to do this differently. But they started coming at us.
Yeah, at that point, they started charging us because the dragon had already been released, and they
And
were
it
actually
just seemed
chasing
to
an
work
enemy
out
there.
one at a time. We started
Yeah.
picking them off, and I'm like,
Well, then we retreated back to our original positions that we
Yeah.
were trying to lure him in. So you guys, you two archers.
I mean, because if we had the proper tank, he could just go in and then we
Yeah.
follow behind him, but we didn't have him with us.
yeah,
So-
exactly. Yeah, if Jake had been there, or even Rob or Al,
well, if Jake had been there without question, he'd have been like, I'm going in. You know,
right,
yeah.
we'd all
I
been
would've
chasing him in,
charged.
doing what we could.
I would have picked a guy up and used him as plow and plow him down.
So,
I'm going to bring the hate.
so these guys end up taking down on that encounter. I think it was
We
one
skipped
more.
an encounter, too, didn't we? Because of the path we took.
No, we talked about that really
yeah,
quick.
early on. We went through the sewers, and Al rolled a natural 20 for his perception or something.
Yeah,
so
and
we
you guys
ended up
Yeah,
basically
Sneaking
skipping
by
an
it.
encounter.
You actually
Yeah.
skipped an encounter. You snuck by it, and you
With
got
our
that's-
luck, though, that was probably the one with all the gold.
Yeah.
So, you guys eventually there was I kind of something. You guys finally get together.
Yeah, we finished those guys off, and
Then it's back to
No,
us.
we never
'cause
got together.
Oh, that's right. No, that's right.
No,
That's
'cause
right.
We fought
yes,
the
that's
guy
right.
who had the orb next, and that was
Yes.
after another rest. And everybody on this group had, at this point, used all hit dice.
Yes.
Completely gone. Need literally 2 straight days of rest now.
I must have been off cooking at that point because I don't
Yeah. No.
remember any
You
of that.
at
battle.
that point. Yeah. At
No,
that point, you were just
'cause
finishing up the beef stew.
We ended up being ultimately the ones that took out Jim.
No, you did, and that's what I'm getting
Yeah,
into
we
right
did.
now.
'Cause-
So you guys take out
Because he
what
took a
was
flying leap.
the main assassin
Right,
of
you
the
guys-
assassins
oh, yeah, that's
right.
right, I
guild.
do remember
That's
that.
who we
Right.
took out.
You guys
Yeah,
took
and
him
that's the guy
out,
that
We
had
got
the
the
orb.
orb.
and you got
Yep.
one of the orbs. Right, exactly. Now you still don't know what they are.
No, and
but you
some
know,
guy's an
yes.
asshole. He won't tell us.
But you know they're
But we
good
know
powers.
it's not the one he was looking for.
Right, exactly.
So we know there's more than one.
But you also know that he has the knowledge and the past for him. So you do
Actually,
have.
didn't he say something along the lines of, I don't know, I've never seen him?
No. He said
I
he
haven't
knows
seen
what he
that
was
one.
looking for, but he's never seen the one that
Okay.
he is specifically looking for. But yes, he's seen these before.
I
He
think-
does
yeah.
know the knowledge of them.
I think he's taking us for a ride.
Nah, he's definitely not. He's a cool NPC.
He's Batman.
So,
He's like,
and
I
this
worked
is
hard on him.
and this is another one. DM's tip. Sometimes things happen, and players, as far as people, don't get along, and unfortunately, you have to take characters out of campaigns. This was such an incident. We had 2 people that were originally playing. One was a berserker.
The one was a barbarian.
Barbarian,
but
that's right.
Yep.
The most counter barbarian. He wanted to throw a javelin
Every
instead
single
of
time,
swing
instead
an
of
axe.
rage.
The
Yeah,
only
except-
ranged barbarian I've ever seen.
Right, and then the other one was a cobalt. Right, he was a cobalt.
Kobold,
Yeah.
yes.
He was a cobalt,
Rogue?
and it was the only rogue.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
he
he
was
did-
a ranger. That's right. He
he
was a
was
ranger.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was a ranger.
There was-
That's
there
why
was-
he
there
had
was-
the familiar.
Yeah, there was three
that
rangers
he wanted
at
to warn
first.
about.
He had the first heroic death of the campaign as a monk.
Yes.
And, you know,
Oh yeah,
by,
that's right. I killed him.
by accident because, you know, sub DM there put us in a battle that was like legit. That almost killed the entire party.
That was a party white battle right there,
Like-
bro.
when the DM comes back and says, "Wow, dude, that was pretty close," even like,
Well, part of that was that several people in the party really did not act strategically in that party. It was fairly
at
early
beginning,
on.
I was gonna say beginning of
Yeah.
the 5e. It was a lot of things going on with that. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the monk did
It-
go right up to him.
Right.
I mean,
I had
in the back row.
intended for pretty much exactly that. I didn't want it to be quite that. you know,
and at
bad,
the time,
but,
nobody realized that they could have brought his body back and paid the money. Not that they had the money to bring him back to
no
life.
money. Just bury him,
exactly.
get some pie
So
points
yeah,
and
they
move on.
buried him right there, and Jim goes and makes a new character. So this was the character, and the original idea was he's an evil. He was evil. He rolled it evil, and the whole point was he was
Yep.
to join these people. But his plan was to bring Tikis's Tiamat into this world. When Jim and the whole party kind of had a falling out, I ultimately took these two characters.
Let's call it what it is. Jim was an asshat, and I got tired of it, so I kicked him out of my house because everybody else.
You
was tired
don't
of
need
it
to
with
bad
himself.
mouth people on the podcast.
No
Come on.
offense, though, the game sped up by like
No,
a
it did.
2-hour
Oh, fuck yeah.
minimum.
Fuck yeah.
They're
No, he's-
faster by.
He's,
Really, the main thing was he never got how we do things and how we like to play.
And look how
as
we're
a
doing it
party.
now.
Yeah,
Like, it's-
exactly.
it's
As
like-
soon as we got rid of him,
it's streamlined. It's,
everything
it's just
got
like you said.
easier
Yeah,
and
it's
faster
fucking streamlined.
and better.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I took these characters and I had them sneak attack them one night. The barbarian ended up killing you one shot. Then they ended up
Yes,
killing the
put me down.
barbarian. Jim got away. They killed Jim's familiar at the time, but Jim barely got away. I then changed his name to Jim, JYM, and he became the ultimate bad guy to these guys. Like, he became
Our nemesis.
the big aggressor. He got them kicked out of town. He got them blamed for rape. He got them.
Oh yeah, he basically blackballed us.
Oh yeah, he put you guys to the poorhouse, and
He's still my number two, though. My
He
guy
took
is
away
still
our
the king
house,
of
our
doing it.
money,
Oh, yeah.
our
Oh, yeah.
town, everything.
oh, he's still out there.
All our
He's
friends,
a broken
our
man as well,
reputation.
but he's out there.
It's true. They did barbecue Beggar's Hope.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they literally took away everything that we built up in the first few adventures,
Well,
yeah.
including our house that we won fair and square.
Jokes
One
on
fair
them. We got
square-
bobblehead money, bro.
Bobblehead money for days.
You bet on me pit fighting, and only because I was 10-1 and we had more gold than our DM realized we had, you made a bucket of money off it.
So
And thanks to me, we were able to buy his life back after he jumped out a window.
So yeah, we're leading to this. So now,
Yes.
as these guys are pretty much wiping away the Assassin's Guild at this point, and you guys pretty much killed the Assassin Guild to the man. Like, there is not an assassin that got out of that guild at all. Like, you guys, when they split up, they literally hit every part of my campaign that I had planned. And I told these guys to show up early because I was thinking it was going to be like an 8-hour, maybe even 9-hour adventure.
It
But
definitely would have been had we
But
not
because
split up.
right, because they split up, it literally was done like 5.5, 6 hours. It was 6 hours,
We
right?
got done before 5 o'clock, and
Yeah.
we started
We had, like-
probably around 11.
Right.
We
Usually
had
there's
2
an hour
hours
float
to
period.
spare,
Yeah.
as opposed to our normal end time.
Yes, yes.
And I was
Yeah.
able to still go over a friend's house for the rest of the party.
Yeah.
And but honestly, I don't think if everybody hadn't known their characters and known how to play them so well, I don't think it would have gone as quick.
I
But
agree.
certainly not.
I agree.
Especially not with me around. I am
Because
definitely
another-
shuffles until I
here's a
get really
player
used to a
tip.
character.
The more you know your characters and the more you know the rules and how to use them, the quicker
Mm-hmm.
it is for the DM instead of having to stop, explain.
Exactly.
And
You're just doing yourself a justice, and you're doing your players
especially
a justice.
in battle. Try to always be thinking about what your next move is going to be.
Bingo, yeah.
Even if as you're thinking about it, everything changes. At least you had a plan.
Every tabletop game
you know what
is
I
like
think
that
really
too.
helped too is the fact that we were able to concentrate on smaller group.
Yes.
So it was just
Yes.
our group fighting, their group fighting.
Yeah, we had three.
That
and three.
was too. I will
So-
admit, as a DM, that is nice. Is when you have the smaller groups like that, it goes by like that because it is.
So-
It's,
Yeah, there's
What do we
not
got?
as
We got,
many
like,
options. There's-
7 to 8 people in the group
yeah.
total.
Yes.
So broken up
7.
into 4.
7
4.
now. There's 7 now.
Yeah. But we
he
were
didn't show
missing
up.
one,
right.
so we only had 6.
Okay, yeah. So it's broken up 3 and 3. So now
Yeah.
it's just the 3 of us trying to figure out this group or this one
Mm-hmm.
antagonist. That group focusing on what that group, that
Right.
antagonist, and just knowing the rules and how to play them.
Yeah.
Things moved a lot sooner. You can almost put the players on autopilot at that point. Like, here's this.
Yeah,
I
less
know what he
think
has.
tanky.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
And-
It's kind of like the door with 2 fighters. One has a 20 strength. I have an 18, and I think
Right.
Rob's cleric
And I think
has
we
like
actually
a
did that too.
18.
Like we
Easy to break door down.
I think we did the bridge thing while
Yeah.
you guys were discussing what you were going to do with
Yeah.
the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So then they get into the tower, and I had the tower pretty much set up to be booby trapped. It did. Part of it crumbled down, and these guys had to figure out how to get away from it. At this point, they did hear the screaming going on, so they knew that something was going on. They knew Jim was nearby, as well as Jim's bodyguards. They went up around the tower, climbed up around the tower, helped each other out. The dragon-born ranger used wings to help get them up faster. They get to the top. They find out that Lyra, Warlock's chick, is burning at the stake. They also realize it's too late to save her, and they try to go after the main nemesis. Now, this is the biggest, going right back to what I said before as a DM. Sometimes shit happens, and you don't want it to happen. And if you don't let it happen, you take away every ounce of realism that you're trying to make this world become. Here's the scenario.
Before you get to that, let's describe Steve.
Oh, God.
Because this is the perfect
Let's not.
example of what you're talking about.
Please.
So,
So-
we were playing with one of our old friends, Steve, as DM, and Steve was not flexible at all. So we got to a point
I
where
played one game with him, by the way.
where we
One.
were fighting. We had an
we
encounter
had
with,
like
with
2 or
his big
3.
bad, and you decided to attack him.
Our man,
and he
Thag.
gave you one attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, our biggest, baddest fighter, the guy who could do the most damage, and you critted.
Yep, roll the 20.
Yep.
20.
Rolled a natural 20 on the first attack, like a sneak attack, whatever. And any DM I know would say, okay, you hit him.
Yeah, give him a scar.
Roll your damage.
Make him mortal.
Yeah. There's plenty of ways you can make him survive.
Yeah.
But you hit him, you do something.
Take his eye out. Give him a
Steve?
fucking, yeah.
Nope, you don't hit him. He's immune to it, or whatever
No,
the hell he
he
said.
caught my hand and he
And,
like
yeah,
flew him
broke-
into a bit.
Yeah.
Basically said there is absolutely no way in hell you are ever hitting this guy, regardless of any of natural laws of physics or anything.
At that point, as a player, I would have said, "Well, this is way out of our level. Let's get out of here."
We basically did.
This
and
is- this
that
is
was
an epic-
also the
epic
point where we
campaign we can't
also
play. Yeah.
individually basically all said, this is stupid.
Yeah.
We're not playing this anymore.
Yeah, that was done after that.
There was no getting out. He surrounded
Yeah.
the town with like
Yeah.
8 million
If that's what you're going to
miniatures that
do,
had dragons
you might
and
as well
that.
sit people around its table and tell a story.
And it should also be known that the reason why, like, we let it go on so long is like I said, I've been DM for 20 years, and there is that really funny meme that we also it shows the Red Skull with his little thing on from what freaking planet is that?
Vormir.
Vormir, yeah.
Vormir, and he's like, and it literally
Yes.
says, "I'm constantly bringing people to a treasure I can never
cannot
possess," and that's
That is
me.
so true.
And that is me because I just am be DM so long, and they just love playing my games because of the knowledge and the stuff that I bring that I never really get to play. So when I do get to play, I don't realize how terrible they are.
Honestly, it's not that it's not that we love your DMing so much, and I'm not saying that we don't, because
Yeah,
we do.
yeah.
It's that nobody else comes even close to that level.
Right,
So
right.
we've never had somebody else that can and will DM
Right.
to give you that break.
Right.
There's very.
Yeah.
I found because I've played with different DMs, it's really hard to find DM will put the ego to the side.
Yes.
Because there are DMs that actually think. I mean, they are kind of, but they think they're another player, and
It's them against you.
versus
Right.
versus
Almost
the group.
almost invariably, you get a DM that is one of two things. He wants to be another player, but he doesn't want to DM, or he wants to be God.
Yes.
See the gamers.
Steve wanted to be
movies.
God.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
I've
That's very
also
true.
played with DMs, like you said, that wanted to be another player,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work out.
No, it doesn't because they try to drive the story too far into with their
Yeah.
characters. You know,
Right. Usually
Yeah,
their
I've
player
played
ends
with
up
a
becoming
DM.
God.
I
Right.
played with a DM whose NPC won the game basically, and
Yeah.
like
You're
Yeah,
like, thanks.
and both
yeah,
of those scenarios involve into basically just storytelling.
I
shit.
just gave myself 15,000 XP.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, great. Now, what are the rest
So,
of us
you know
going
what?
to do?
It's funny. So with this indestructible character that you can't hit, even we'll use Marvel as an example. Even in Infinity War, Tony Stark blasts Thanos 100 times. So we'll call him 100 critical hits, and he still manages to hurt him. But Thanos
Yep.
doesn't quit.
Right.
You
All
can
that
do
for a
that.
drop of blood.
Right. You
Yeah.
can do that. And it's something probably I would have done. Like all those rolls, all those hits, I would have had the guy
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah.
I would have had the guy.
All of
get
us
up
would have been
with
perfectly
blood all over
fine
my
if you
face
smack him
and been
and-
like, finally, someone to play with. That's what.
Yeah.
That's how you play that. You don't
Exactly.
just say no. You
Yeah.
can't.
No, I
You
catch
don't.
your
Yeah.
I catch your hand and throw you into the wall. You're
We
pathetic.
would have been perfectly fine if you had, blasted him with your best shot, and all it does is cut him across the cheek. That
Yeah.
tells us that he's fucking super tough. He can take that hit.
Right,
Not
exactly.
just,
Mind
Get
you,
away from
I
me.
Because seriously, what's
I
the
casted
point?
a spell
You
right
leave.
after that. Same
Oh,
thing
yeah.
happened to me. The guy was 100%
Yes.
immune to all magic
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was God.
That was simply
literally.
It was- yeah.
That was simply Steve did not want the character.
And wasn't it his
to be
ex-character?
touched.
Wasn't it
It wasn't
Pyro?
supposed to be an attack. I think it was.
It was his ex character or his
Yeah.
Might have
general or
been.
something like
Yeah,
that.
which actually, yeah, that's the flip side is he brought back one of his old characters to be this super NPC.
Yeah.
So he also had the god character complex going
I've
on.
done that before.
I
but
mean,
Absolutely.
we're talking about
more
a
than,
Yeah, but-
more than
guy
willing to
who's
smack.
I was gonna say,
around.
but
Crit on a
you did it with
3.
class. You did it with dignity. There's a difference. I do
'Cause
it all
I
the time.
do-
I do it with White Wolf. I'll bring him into campaigns, which
Yeah.
is obviously my original D&D character. Which you know,
Those are legends.
yeah, they're
legendary.
legendary characters.
Yeah, don't forget that that same character, while he was still a character, he claimed critted on 3s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I
Anything
remember
under
that.
a 4 is technically a failure.
That's a crit.
I mean, just from Palladium rules, anything.
Steve,
under
you rolled
4
a
is
2, and you
failure.
just said
it
you
is.
crit
Doesn't
on 3 and
matter.
above.
Yeah, and it makes sense.
Yeah,
And that
but
does make
I get an
sense.
extra +1 this round because I get an extra
Because I'm
+1.
Steve.
Combat
Steve.
advantage. He got a +2, so therefore he could
So
crit on a 1 even.
These guys go ahead.
I fumble, I still crit.
and they get to the end big bad guy, and I am planning this dramatic Batman smoke show escape, and my son, out of anybody who's going to do it, does it to me, of course, and looks me dead in my eye and goes, "I'm diving at him and pile driving him into the ground." And I paused, and anybody here will tell you, I paused for a good, it must have been 10 seconds.
Say roll.
I said, I'll give you a difficulty, a DC of 18. Natural. And he rolled it. So he literally took my big, bad, evil guy and pile drived him into the
like
ground.
3 or 4 stories down.
Killing
Obliterated
himself.
the both of them, yeah.
Killing himself.
Suicided himself in the process.
But thus ending Jim's evil reign forever. There's no coming back from that, just like they say in The Crow. There's no coming back from that, man. There's no coming
is the
back
really
from that.
real world,
it's really
man.
real world, man. Now, as a DM, could I have been like, same thing? Oh, he disappears in a blink of an eye and you miss him. Yes, I could have. Would it have made every single person at this table lose respect for me as a DM? I would say yes. And this is why I went with it. Yes, I have to come up with a new big bad evil guy. But think about this now. Not only did Tiamat entrust herself into that general right there, which these guys just destroyed, now she needs to explain to her army why that general was taken out so easily. So now there's going to be some inner conflict, and I can start working this into the story more. At the time, I wasn't even thinking that. When it happens, you go with it and you go forward with it. Did it make it an epic moment? I think everybody, like I said at this table, will say yes. We
There's
texted
no
about
question.
it. Yeah, texted about it the next day. I
Yeah.
mean, you didn't have your phone, unfortunately, son, but
Yeah, you missed all that.
but it was, like I said, my own son throwing it out there, and it was fantastic. And you bringing up the point of wanting to do this show, and these guys last night when we were playing on our Xbox and saying, "Hey, I would love to be a part of this."
It's
and
just a perfect game.
It
I hate
really-
using that word, but like technically from because
it flowed.
Yeah.
It flowed so nice.
It worked.
It had
There wasn't a point where I was bored.
no.
Because
Yep.
even the best games, there's a point where you're sitting around like, all right, Rob, hurry up, go shopping.
Yeah.
I wasn't bored.
What can I do for you?
Yeah, there was never a time when anybody was sitting around for too long and going,
No.
what
No.
next?
It
And the
flowed
combat
smoothly.
was so
And-
boom,
Yes.
boom, boom. It
Yeah.
was great.
And that was the point. Like I said, you do have to modify things. Don't like if you do decide to split up the party, if you do decide to let them go different routes, and you do have encounters set up, don't send that same encounter at them. You will fuck them up. It won't be fun for them. And don't use it as like a like a bad gamers, like to teach them a lesson, because they're not going to learn
I
a
gotta say
lesson.
too, big props to you.
No,
on
not
this
with
one.
our hobo killing. party. We've
No.
kind of distinguished that a little bit.
Big props to you though. I think out of all the games you played, I think these were the most balanced enemies
Yes.
we faced. Like the last game, I was just like, these are kind of tough.
Yeah,
but like
it's
this is the
getting
most
better.
balanced
Yes.
game I think you've done thus far, which is important. So like, don't send level 20.
Right, make it
baddies against
tough, but
level
don't-
5.
Don't make it to the
players.
point where they're just getting fucking bum rushed and just getting getting creamed.
Again, going back
Yeah.
to the indestructible baddie thing, you don't want that. You want an antagonist that it's
Makes it
possible
real.
to stop. You
Right.
make it difficult, make
Sink
it
your
hard.
teeth into, and really makes you
And be
want
smart
makes
about
you
it.
want to do
Make
what
it
my son did
challenging,
and jump
but-
at this guy and literally drive him through a fucking concrete fucking floor. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's
Like-
simple. You make it challenging but rewarding.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you got to do something with the scenario with an antagonist. If you're going to make it so they're just this close to stopping them, but something happens, you got to be smart about it to where the players get a little like, God damn it, but at the same time, like, oh, I'll get you.
Almost had him. Right, almost had him.
You want that hook where they're like, instead of getting mad, they're like, oh, next time,
Yep.
I'm gonna.
And that's what I was doing up until this point, and I had one more escape plan pretty much planned.
Yeah.
Like there was going to be an epic battle coming up soon with him, but there was also something else I had planned going with that.
You need that James Bond style last minute
Exactly.
Yeah.
whatever.
Exactly.
But you got to play it smart. Just like, oh, he's suddenly indestructible. He puts on his indestructible
Yeah.
ring that he's
Yeah.
had the whole time,
No,
but just
you-
decide to wear it now.
No, really, stuff like that has to be more of a plot point. Like
Exactly.
his army comes in and saves him, or the freaking police knock down the door and distract everybody,
Right.
or whatever
Something
the hell.
comes in or something.
I
does
think
exactly.
Ultron
I was
is a
gonna
good
say, though.
example where you destroy one of them. There's just he's not the
It's
thing
not
that
the
he
thing.
appears.
Right.
He is actually a part of a bigger thing.
Right.
And so the more you destroy each of these physical bodies, he's just
just still
of
there.
something else.
He's always there.
So that's a. I mean,
Yeah,
the movie,
that's
I don't
a
think
good
the movie,
villain
The movie didn't do
as
as
far as
well,
that.
but that character in the comics is perfect in that sense.
Absolutely.
Like no matter how many times you destroy that Ultron as a
Yeah.
whole is always there.
It's always there.
Right.
Right.
Same thing
Yeah.
with Brainiac. Brainiac's the same way.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to destroy him 100% to really get rid of him. If
Exactly.
you leave any little thing, he comes back.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just we're gonna wrap up. Essentially, I want to say, as a GM, as a DM, you come across things that you have no control of.
Right.
And the best thing and the most fun that your party is ever gonna have is to lose control. Let it go. Just let it go. Like we said, you'll have epic gaming moments. You'll have people come to you and be like, dude, that was the best game I've had in a long time. And I can't believe this happened. And I can't believe this happened. That means as a DM, you did your job and you did it right. Because they were going to want to keep coming back to you. Never get discouraged. Never get discouraged. If they kill your big bad evil guy, make another one, man.
Don't come up with the players' stories for them. I mean, the game is about the players'
Yes.
stories.
Yes.
So don't write a game with the intention of, I'm going to make Alex the king. What if Alex doesn't
it's
want to
not
be
just
the king?
your story.
Right.
It's like, oh, I don't want to be king.
I don't want to be
I want to
king.
go. In,
I
I want
wanna
to
be
go
a
in the dungeons.
thief, right. I wanna be a
I want to
thief
break into
forever.
houses.
Yeah.
So don't write these stories for them. Let them kind of unfold because
Yes.
that player, even if you did it and they go along with it,
Yeah.
They might not
be
enjoy
having
it.
a good time.
Right. They might be like, oh, here I am playing this game
It's
again
like-
where they
Yeah.
want me to be king.
I mean,
Exactly.
obviously, you have to have some structure. You got to
Yeah.
know
Right.
what you're doing for your enemies and your overall storyline.
Yes.
But you have to be flexible enough to allow the story to develop organically and allow the players to have some input in their characters' actions.
Exactly.
yeah.
So wrap up. You can find us on
Oh, right now the podcast is available on Breaker. It's available on Spotify. If you
which
have the Spotify app.
Spotify is actually really easy to hook
Radio
up.
Public.
And radio is at FM.
Anchor.fm
Anchor,
/Basement
Anchor.fm.
Quest, and you can see all the platforms we're on. And of course, you can always subscribe to the YouTube channel for thumbs up.
Which we love those. Trust me, we
Hit the
need
bell
those.
to be notified every time there's new content.
And Ed's always on top of it. As a matter of fact, the last one dropped last night, right? Midnight
Yep,
or something
midnight.
like that.
I had the notification
Yeah.
on my phone this morning.
Yep, I didn't get a chance to
Well,
listen to it.
According
I
to our
wanna-
listeners today, it was last week.
I know.
Hey, I'll listen to it when I get home.
So we're gonna be dropping these. I think it's gonna be like what every Friday, pretty much Friday and into
Friday night,
Saturday.
Saturday, probably.
And
Some
yeah,
of the
we're
weekend.
recording on Saturdays. Sometimes we'll
We
do
play
one.
on Sunday, so
Yeah.
get your tips in Saturday for your
Exactly,
game Sunday.
exactly. And most people do a gaming Sunday, so I think that works out, really, really well. Also, anything else? I don't think we have anything up there for contributions to this show yet.
No, if you like what we're doing, you can contribute on anchor.fm
Oh, there is.
Basement Quest.
There is. Okay, yeah. So
You
if
can
you do go to
donate
Anchor,
99 cents a month. That's like
that's $1.
that's a third of a coffee.
Yeah, that's
Damn
not even.
inflation.
As a matter of fact, I think
That's like a gas station coffee.
I was gonna say they even have.
And why would
Burger,
you even want to drink one of
Burger
those?
King has a $5 a month endless cup of coffee. Come on,
That's even worse than the gas station coffee.
who wants that stuff?
This
You
is why
can you can go
buy
on
the beans, people.
Yeah.
5
You can
cents
go-
a cup when you grind it.
You can go right on our website. Okay, you can every time
BasementQuest.com.
you shop at BasementQuest.com. You can click on the Amazon link every time you shop at Amazon.
Please
Help
do
the
that.
show
That
out.
helps us.
If you buy anything on Drive-Thru RPG, click the links on the page there.
Yeah,
You get a
and that's actually
commission
really
from
cool.
them. I get a lot of stuff from there.
Yeah, that's really
They got
cool.
Miniatures, it's PDFs of all books, sometimes at like half the price. There's a Palladium sale going on right now. Hint, hint, hint.
Hint, hint, Palladium.
Also, we are teamed up with the Ultimate Gaming Table.
I freaking love this thing. Have you guys seen this yet? This Ultimate Gaming Table?
No.
Oh, I saw an ad for that. Yeah. Oh man, that thing is nice.
If I had the money, my friends, if I had the money. Well, if you have the money,
Yeah,
You can save
I'd have to
50
see
bucks.
it.
it's freaking beautiful. Go to our
much?
websites. It's I think it
Well,
starts
they,
at
they
like
vary. You can get
Right.
them stripped down without any decorations. I think they start at $7.99.
yeah, and then you can get like
And
the
then-
flip outs, and they have individual carts and the drink storage, and I mean the sides, the molding,
The
Yeah, the
inner table is
crafting.
nice and felted.
The higher tier ones were like marvels of engineering.
It really was really cool.
and you
Like,
can decorate it either Warhammer. There's Dungeons and Dragons. There's Game of Thrones
Yes.
decals.
Yep.
You can customize this table
and,
however you
and,
want.
and you can switch them out. It's
Yeah.
so easy. Like if you want to buy, say, the flip ups for the Warhammer table, and then you want the D&D. So when you have your friends over and you're doing D&D, bam, you slap on the D&D, decorations. Then they come over for Warhammer. You pop those off and you put on the freaking 40K decorations. It's really cool, man.
if you
So
How's
yeah,
it
if
on the
anybody from the
dice
Ultimate
rolling
Gaming
action,
Table
though?
is,
I would have to see
listening,
that.
you know.
That we'd have
inside
to.
the table is all.
But
like
that's what I'm saying. I
felt.
think it's
like
gaming.
poker
It's
table
like a
felt.
poker table. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just
It
like
is. So the dice aren't going to get good action on the roll.
No, no.
That might
they'll get
hurt.
really good.
No,
action.
you get a proper felt lining, and they get really good action.
Oh, fuck
Or
yeah.
there's
Compared to
also-
that table, that me,
I
Al
think
and
you're just
Rob are on-
favoring that because of the criticals, my friend.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
if-
that
all
is
day,
true
every
that I
day.
can't mess with results, but also we have a large enough party that, that they have, 8,
Oh,
10
that's-
seats at
Yes.
larger
10
tables, right?
people,
Up to
I think.
10 people. And I like it because I do like having
think the
everybody
smaller
at
one only
one
had, like,
table.
6,
You know what I'm saying?
though.
I'm old school like that. I really do like doing that. I like being at the head of the table. And
They do have coffee table size ones if you're just running little games
Yep.
of poker, whatever, whatever
Yep.
any
and
type
they're
of
really,
gaming.
yes,
Yeah.
they're very cool.
And
They're very cool.
you
Card
can
games, board games,
actually
whatever.
You can save $50 if you use the code BasementQuest50 at checkout.
That's a nice little savings
That
right
is.
there.
Yes.
That's a nice little
Just
savings.
so they know that we sent you. Use that
Yep.
code. They do pay us a little commission so that we can
And we
get
love
on
it.
And
we
remember,
get
if
our
any
own.
of you guys are listening, we'll definitely take some nice videos if you send us a trial one.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I'll happily
You'll see
roll a
some
ton of
beautiful
natural 20s
D&D
for
and
you.
Warhammer videos.
I would like to see the action on those, actually.
I will
totally
sell
would.
you-
I will
Your
test
question
that
actually
sucker.
does intrigue me. That's a good
They
question.
have
How do they
too.
roll?
They
Because with
have
the felt,
accessories
Yeah.
we
too.
play Warhammer. So the felt ones that we use for Warhammer, the little dice, you don't get a lot of action in those.
Well, it's also
But you
off
need
of
to-
wood, and it's only that much. So they might actually have padding on this, and so it
Yeah.
It's like the same as I think like a pool table kind
right,
of thing. So
right. I mean, it
And they
definitely.
Yeah,
have
so
trays.
it's really
They have
just
trays you
the
attach
felt
to the
laid
table,
down
too,
pretty
if
much
you
flat
want
on
to
a harder
Yeah.
surface.
Yeah, they also do have trays, like you're saying, on the side, and you can roll your
Yeah.
dice on that too.
You
But
know
I
what
mean,
would
it's
be-
just really up to you.
You know what would be good though?
You
Then
can customize
his
table
metal
everyone.
dice could roll on the table.
That table was
I
made
hope
for
you
your metal
enjoyed
dice.
Jake's first and only time on the show.
All right, guys. Thank you all very much. And hey, I got a little homework project for you guys. Hit us up in the comments below. Some of the craziest things you've ever been a part of in an adventure, and were you
Go to the
happy with
forum.
it?
We
Oh,
have
the forum.
We have a forum.
There you go. Even
So,
better. Even
yeah,
better.
Go to our forums. We'd love to talk about any episode.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I've been
leave
starting
us.
threads
Yeah,
for each one.
absolutely. Give us recommendations, comments, anything. Leave it all there in the forums. We definitely go there and we definitely check it out. And guys, thank you all very much. From Loki, from Brian, from Jakers,
From Eddie.
and from my son who's been working the controls this whole time. Thank you all very much and have an incredible gaming weekend.